Okay. So what I'm doing right here is I sent an email to every student in my first and seventh hour last night, about 10 o'clock, to schedule a meeting. Some of your parents may have been working from home and have been doing meetings on Teams. Anybody recognize any of that language? Okay. So basically, every day, every Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, when you guys are at home at 8 a.m., you can live stream into my class. Okay. On Tuesdays, generally, you guys will be in person, right, at 8 a.m. Okay. I don't know if anybody got my email. I guess none of you guys saw it. So I don't know if anybody's going to jump in. I sent a message, just jump in see if it works. So hopefully, somebody sees it out of around 40 kids. So, the only way to cover what I need to cover, and we have Wednesdays off, obviously, is I have to teach every day. You know what I mean? So next Tuesday, when you're at home, you can come in live and watch my notes. Okay. It'll be the first day of lecture. Okay. And then you can come in live, or I'm recording this right now, and I will post a link to YouTube because I'll upload the video to YouTube, and you can watch it. But you need to watch it before the next day, so you're not behind. You know what I mean? You know what's going on in class. Okay. So on days when I'm doing lectures, I know it's hard to sit at home and watch a lecture. I know that because I did it last year in the spring, right? It was horrible. Okay. And I watched the number of views on my lectures because I can check that on YouTube, right? I see how many people viewed it. The first couple weeks, I had like almost every student was watching. Okay. By the last 2 weeks, that was down to about a third. So I know it's hard to do. Sit at home and watch, even as entertaining as I'm going to be. Okay. It's difficult. So I'll try and keep them, I won't bring you into like the very beginning of class. Just like when I start doing important stuff, I'll start recording. But I think if you come in live, it'll be more interesting than if you're watching it taped. One reason why is because you can ask questions from home, okay, or chime in or post in the chat, okay, if you have a question, okay, and I'll see it come up and I'll be able to respond to you at home, okay. Now I know it's 8 a.m. in the morning. Are you guys going to be getting up on your days when you're coming in the afternoon? I don't know. A lot's probably going to depend on like how much crap your teachers are giving you to do, okay, because you've got to log those hours. All right. So I just want to explain what I'm doing here so you're like not distracted. Okay. So let me go back to what I normally do, and that is to introduce myself. Okay. And welcome to your senior year. I'm really glad that we're getting to do this in person, at least some, because last year was horrible when we shut down. And I just don't think students are going to learn. I'm doing an online class at Friends right now working on my master's, and I signed up for the in-person, and I guess they didn't have enough people sign up for the in-person. So on Monday nights, I'm on the computer for 2.5 hours, 3 hours in class, and I don't like it at all, although the teacher has employed a lot of the good technology that she can do, breakout rooms and all kinds of stuff. Now she only has 11 students. I have like 100. So, I mean, there's a big difference. You know what I mean? So anyhow, this is my 22nd year teaching. Of those 22 years, I've taught government for 20 of them, so it's a subject I know a lot about. It's a subject that I really enjoy teaching. If I had to pick any social studies classes to teach, it would be the ones I'm teaching. So I'm very fortunate there. I don't have to teach world history because I don't want to teach world history. Okay. Let's see. I have 2 kids. I'm married. My wife is, she's brilliant. She's a chemical engineer. She's smart. She has no common sense. You know, some smart people like that. So we're a good match. Lily is my daughter. She's a junior here. Some of you might know her. And then my son Jack graduated a couple of years ago, and he's up at Neosho Community College playing baseball. So I have a busy life. You guys are going to have busy lives. I tend not to give people a lot of homework. Okay, what's going on here? Who's that? Somebody's coming in. Who's that? Seth, what's up? Thanks for coming in, man. You guys know Seth Guile? Here. Can I hear you? Hello? Okay, let me see here.
Are you wanting me to respond?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you could hear me. How's it look on
I can see your board,
okay.
the flag, the clock.
All right. Can you see the syllabus up here?
Not clearly.
Not very clearly? Okay. Well, I'll be giving you guys notes at home that you can pull up on your computer while you're at home. Okay, so you'll get that on Canvas. Cool?
All right.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you all right now. I just couldn't earlier.
Okay. All right, yeah, I think sometimes this takes a little while to, like, once you get on to sync up good. So, and I'm wearing a mask. All right, kid. Hey, you can hang out or you can take off. It's up to you.
All right.
See you Tuesday.
All right, bye.
Thanks. It's awesome. Okay. So this thing's supposed to follow me around. Come on. Yeah. What was I talking about? I don't know what I was talking about. Okay. So this class, senior year. Any of you guys turn 18 yet? Any of you turn 18 by November 3rd? Okay. Have you registered yet? Okay, you can. You can go ahead and register now even though you're not 18 yet because you will be 18 by the time of the election. So guys, this is the reason why they wait till your senior year to do government is because you are going to soon be able to participate in voting, okay? And so really what my goal is to do is to get you as well informed as possible so that you have good context of understanding our system of government, the history of our system, why we have this system, and you can make the best decisions possible, okay? So the first half of this class is going to be the why, okay? So I have this quote on the syllabus here, and this syllabus is on Canvas, guys. I'm going paperless here, okay? So you'll have access to that. Have any of you guys gotten on Canvas yet? Okay, it's really easy to do, okay? Next hour in house, you're going to get a tutorial on how to get on, okay? And with that, you will have boxes, 7 boxes or 8, one for house, of all your classes, okay, when you get on there. Okay, you can do it on your phone, which you'll do today most likely. I don't see if anybody brought any computers, but you really want to do it on your computer at home if you're using one at home. And then you got to be able to get back onto Power School. Okay, your Power School account, not your parents. Okay, those are 2 things you're going to have to use every day: is Canvas and that. So this is on Canvas right now. Okay, as is the first stuff we're going to be doing in this class. Okay, so In 1787, the U.S. Constitution was written. Okay, now this was our second. You guys might remember something called the Articles of Confederation. It didn't work out too good. Okay, so 55 men got together in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, and wrote a new constitution. Now, in 1787, they didn't have photography yet. Okay, not until the Civil War did we have photography. And so, how would you recognize somebody that was famous if they were walking down the street? Now, George Washington was 6'4", okay, and he had a kind of distinct look, so you might recognize George Washington if you saw him walking down the street. Ben Franklin definitely had a distinct look, bald on the top, party in the back, okay? He was a ladies' man, okay? Ben Franklin, I mean, that guy enjoyed his life, okay, especially when he was in France. The women really liked him, okay? But anyhow, he's in this convention writing the new Constitution, and he comes outside, and a woman walking by recognizes him and says, "So, Mr. Franklin, what type of government do we have?" And he replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." How many times have you heard the phrase, "We live in a democracy"? We live in a democracy. Okay, do we live in a democracy? No, we live in a republic, okay? So you two that I hope will register to vote and vote, okay? When you vote on November 3rd, I'm coming over here to this map, which I'll be over at this map multiple times this year, okay? We live in Kansas. When you go vote, you're not voting for Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris. You're actually voting for 6 Republican electors or 6 Democrat electors. These are representatives of the party that are chosen to actually cast the vote for president and vice president. There's 538 throughout the country, okay? And each state gets a say in who's going to be president, okay? If we were to do the popular vote, where you counted up all the individual votes of all Americans, that would be more democratic. But we don't live in a democracy. Why did they set it up this way, the Electoral College? Well, that's something I'm going to explain to you. Okay, I'll just give you one reason why. The small states, like Rhode Island, originally we had 13, right? The small states didn't want to be dominated by the big states, like New York. Okay, so they wanted to have an equal say in the government that was ruling over them. Every one of these states has 2 senators. There's 100 senators in the U.S. Congress. Okay, so California only has 2, Kansas has 2, Hawaii and Alaska, with small populations, they get 2. So each state is represented equally. States matter. That's a republic. Okay, we are the United States. There's 50 of us. And each state has an equal say in the Senate. But in the House, California has 53 House members based on population. Kansas has 4. So you see how we get to the Electoral College number? Total number of members of the House plus Senate. Okay, there's 535 members of Congress. Washington, D.C. has 3 Electoral College votes, but they don't have any members of Congress. They're not a state. Does that make sense? So if you take 538 and divide it by 2, you get 269. Add 1 to get to a majority. The magic number is 270. So if you are Trump or Biden, you need to get support from not just New England and the left coast. You need support from part of the Midwest or the South. You need Florida. So you have to have a message that resonates with people all over the country, not just New Yorkers and Californians. Do people in New York in California tend to see the world differently than people in, say, Alabama or Texas? On average, they think differently, yes? So those two candidates have to resonate with the whole country, okay? You guys know what fracking is? Let me just give you one example. You know what fracking is? Okay, fracking is where you get oil out of rock underground, okay? It's called oil shale. And all over different parts of the country, especially Colorado, you go up into North Dakota, Texas, there's this rock underground. And in this rock is oil. And you drill down into that rock and you send high pressure water in there and chemicals, and it separates the oil from the rock, and whoop, we got all the oil we'll ever need. That we'll ever need. Now, how many guys have felt an earthquake in the last year or so? You haven't felt? Anybody felt one? I felt one. Laying in bed last year, I think it was, and it just started shaking a little bit. Well, one of the byproducts of fracking, they think, down in Oklahoma, is because you're breaking up some of the rock down there, there's going to be shifts, and it may be causing earthquakes. Nothing major, but earthquakes nonetheless, okay? Well, Joe Biden, who's running for president, said a while back he wants to do away with fracking. How do you think that's going to play in North Dakota and Texas and Oklahoma? How many people work in the oil industry? You know what I mean? Now, he just reversed that. He said, no, I'm not going to do away with fracking. Okay, but is it too late? You understand? So regionally, it's important where these candidates stand on issues. So one of the first things we're going to do in this class is look at all the big important issues facing this country, and it'll be kind of fun. You won't have to do any work. You just got to sit there and learn. It'll be the first couple weeks. I think you'll enjoy it. You'll learn a lot, okay? And when we're done with that, you're going to be able to figure out where you are on the political spectrum. You're going to be able to see, do I tend to be more Republican or Democrat, and really the terms left and right, conservative, liberal? Some of you may be socialists, fascists, communists, or just right-wing wackos, okay? So that'll be kind of a fun exercise we'll do to start the class, all right? And then bring you into, like, what's going on in the world, okay? So I'm really looking forward to that. So this is big. What is government? And for a lot of students, it's kind of hard to wrap their minds around this idea of government. And so I like to use this. We talk about this is just course description, okay? We're going to look at different governmental systems in the United States, an emphasis on the U.S. Constitution, necessity of rule of law, civic values of American constitutional democracy. Now, you could say we live in a constitutional democracy or a representative democracy, okay? We elect other people to make decisions for us, okay? The rights, privileges, and moral responsibilities to become active participants, that's voting, but it also could be protest, okay? Whether it's protesting in an abortion clinic or protesting in a Black Lives Matter rally. The United States was born out of protest. Think about the Boston Tea Party, or even before that. You might remember this, Shays Rebellion. Remember John Brown, slavery? That crazy guy that, you know, tried to go to the federal arsenal and steal all the weapons? It's a form, that's who we are as Americans. So all this craziness you guys see is who we are. That's how we did it. The 1960s, the civil rights movement, protests. Okay, it's part of our fabric, and it's okay. You may disagree with the protesters, but dang it, they have a First Amendment right to do it. Now, they don't have a right to burn and loot and riot. You don't have a right to do that. It's against the law. It's not protected. Okay? So in 1787, they wrote this Constitution. In 1789, the 13 states agreed to it. They said, yes, we will live under these laws. Okay? In 1791, They changed it. They amended it. And they added 10 amendments. What were those 10 amendments called? The first 10 amendments. Okay, we're starting from scratch. The Bill of Rights, okay? And the First Amendment, the first one, there's 5 rights in the First Amendment. The first one is religion, freedom of religion. The second is freedom of speech, the right to peacefully assemble, freedom of the press, okay, and the right to protest your government, okay, to have grievances against your government, okay. So this is some of the stuff we're going to study early, but we're going to look at the reasons why what they wrote in the Constitution, okay, the why. The second half of the class is going to be the how. How does it work? The 3 branches of government. I could teach that to a 6th grader, okay. I mean, that's just like, it's cut and dry. Legislative, executive, judicial branches. I'll explain it all. It's really easy, okay? All right, so let's look at this. Students understand the rule of law as it applies to God, family, church, school, local, state, and national governments, okay? We get out at 8:45. Think about your family. Everybody's got a different family. What kind of government does your family have? Is it a dictatorship? Is it a democracy? Do the kids have an equal say with the parents? Not in most houses. But then think about this. Who really makes the decision? Or some people put it, who really wears the pants in the family? Who controls the purse? Who controls the money? So like if I'm going to spend like more than $200, I say to myself, you know, I better check with the chief executives before I do this. So yeah, mom, it's probably like this in a lot of families. If mom's not happy, nobody's happy. Okay, I used to fear my mother more than my father. Okay, and I think my kids fear my wife more than they fear me, for sure. Okay, you don't want to make her upset. I don't want to make her upset. Nobody wants that. Okay, so when my kids come to me, I'm like, hey, you're gonna make your mom mad, and that's gonna come back on me. So you better knock it off. Okay, so everyone's different. Now, if mom and dad make those decisions equally, they share in those decisions, we could call that a dictatorship of 2, called an oligarchy. If mom's really in charge, you could call that autocracy, a dictatorship where one person rules. If it's more democratic, where the kids have a say, okay, then you're probably, you know, running into some different situations. I had a student yesterday said, well, she lives with her mom, their parents are split, and she has siblings. Mom works a lot, so she actually is a lot in the decision-making process. Okay, so she's part of that. Okay. All right, so let's think about school here. Who's really in charge of the school? Who do you think? If you, in the building, is it Vanessa? Is it Tish? Is it Coach Shuckman? Slade? Father? Who's really in charge? Have you heard of the A team? There's an A team. Okay, I'm not on the A team. I'm a department chair, so I'm on principal's council, which is bureaucracy. Really, if you think about the schools, who controls the purse? Who controls the money? And that's Tish. Okay, I think the buck stops with Tish Nielsen. Now, Vanessa is supposed to be in charge of the day-to-day affairs as principal, but when big decisions have to be made, it's going to be Tish. And I'm sure Father has a pretty good say in things as well. Okay. Although Father Ed, how many of you guys have gotten to know Father Ed? I love this guy. He's pretty laid back, you know, and he's not kind of like the dictatorial type of guy. Okay. Unless he gets angry, I think, you know, he could probably be pretty forceful, but he's great. I love him. Anyhow. Okay. Now, local, state, and national. So yesterday, the Sedgwick County Commission ruled that through October 21st, these are going to be mandatory. That's called a mask mandate. So Dillon's, Walmart, all the places, the restaurants you go, you're going to have to wear these, right? Through October 21st. What do you think is going to happen when October rolls around? You think they're going to extend it to November 30th or through the end of the year? Okay. That decision was made at the local level by the Sedgwick County Commission. Okay. This COVID thing has really shown us the importance of who our governor is. Most people don't pay attention to our governor. How many of you guys can name our governor? Come on, people. Crawl out from underneath that rock and pay attention. Laura Kelly is our governor. She's a Democrat in a Republican state. Why did she win in Kansas? Because the Republicans put up a bad candidate. And he lost. Okay? Now, the governor has also tried to do mask mandates as well. However, the state legislature at the state level have tried to tie her hands because Sedgwick County is the most populated county in Kansas. So we have an urban area. We have a lot of people, around 500,000 in Sedgwick County. With dense populations, maybe these make sense. I don't know how you feel about the whole thing. I hate them, but I'm willing to wear one so we can do this. And I'll wear it as long as I have to so we can do this. It sucks. I was one of those people like, I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to wear one at Dillon's because you're not going to catch it at Dillon's. You're in there for 5, 10, 15 minutes tops, and you're not standing next to anybody. The best chance you would have is if somebody you were walking by just started hacking. Okay? And if you're hacking, you shouldn't be going to Dillon's in the first place in a pandemic, right? The people that work at Dillon's, there's been no major outbreaks for those people that work there. Okay? So where do the major outbreaks take place? Saturday night, you go to a party, and you're hanging out with a bunch of your friends, you're not wearing masks, and you're up in each other's face, that's where you get the clusters. That's what's happening on college campuses as we speak. Major outbreaks at KU, K-State, and across the country. Okay, so we just got to be careful, guys. It sucks. I hate it. If you don't feel good, stay home. You're going to get everything you need in all your classes on Canvas. If I'm sick, I'm going to stay home, and I'll just Zoom right into this freaking into the classroom. Okay, from home. Figure it out. I got all kinds of technology going on. Okay, so we really get to see the impact of local and state government with this COVID thing. Okay, at the national level, you have Congress and the president. Now, do we want the president to be able to have a mask mandate nationally? Sedgwick County is a lot different than a small town in Wyoming where there might be 100 people that live. That's why the legislature took away the power from the governor of Kansas, because there are really small communities in this state that don't need to be ruled like everybody else. That's called federalism, guys, where you have different levels of government with different powers. And we're going to talk all about that, okay? So this is the importance of government. If you had the president have the ability to mandate that everybody in the country wear a mask, what else could he mandate that you do? You can mandate that you shut down your businesses, like in California. Okay, Nancy Pelosi's in trouble right now because all the hair salons in the state of California are shut down. All of them are shut down. Now, they can do haircuts outside, but she got caught going to a shut-down salon and getting her hair done, and guess what? On video, she wasn't wearing a mask. And this is the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Okay? And the president's taking full advantage of that video. Okay? It's actually quite humorous. But do as I say, not as I do. It's hypocrisy. Those salons are going out of business. In New York, you can't go to a restaurant and eat inside. You can here in Kansas. Okay? I ate at Chili's last night. I ate out the night before up in Topeka because we were traveling for volleyball. Okay? So you wear the mask in, you sit down, you take it off. What are the chances you getting COVID? They're very, very slim. The servers are all wearing masks. Not that that protects you. Guys, these things, at the beginning, you can go back and look. They're saying masks don't work, especially the mask we're wearing. Now, Swords is wearing an N95. Okay? Mrs. Lovelace and Mrs. Fox have built bubbles in their rooms. Mrs. Fox has comorbidities. You guys know comorbidities? This is where if you're overweight or she has MS, you have diabetes, you have these other issues with your health, that's where COVID is killing people. If you're healthy and young, you guys should not be, don't worry. I mean, don't be stupid. Don't get it. But if you do get it, chances are you won't even know it. You'll be asymptomatic, which means you don't even have any symptoms. Some people might lose smell or taste. My wife had it. She survived it. How old do I look? How old do you think I am? Yes. Now, this is one of those classes, people, where a little bit of participation is encouraged. 50. You're close. Is that a kid? No. 51. Okay. My wife's like 3 years older than I. She got it. Okay. So she's in that age range where you're in your 50s. You know, there are some fatalities. But because people in their 50s start to have comorbidities, they start to have some other issues like high blood pressure. I have none of those. My wife has none of those. She said it felt like a bad summer cold. We never registered a temperature with our thermometer, but she felt achy and chills for like 2 days. And she had a cough for about 2 weeks, but never really had trouble breathing. Okay, and nasal congestion and taste and smell, which took about 3 weeks to come back, the taste and smell. Okay. Which those are the symptoms. I mean, you start to eat something or just try and smell something and you can't smell or taste, you probably have it. Okay. So stay home. Okay. Get tested, find out. Okay. I slept with my wife in the same bed the first night she had symptoms, which I probably shouldn't have. That was a Thursday night. She went Friday to get tested, got the result back on Monday. Test positive. So me and my kids, Jack and Lily, and then his girlfriend Kinsley and her parents who were showing some symptoms, we all went and got tested at the same place on Monday. And our results came back on Thursday. We moved my wife into the basement and we all came back negative. Okay. And I slept in the same bed as her, probably at the height of her symptoms. Okay. Which tells me I've probably got some type of resistance to it. I've been teaching for 22 years. I've had so many different coronaviruses. You guys know they call it COVID-19 because there's a bunch of different COVID viruses. You've all had COVID of some sort or corona of some sort. Okay. And I've probably had more than you because I've been around a lot longer than you and I've been teaching. So I'm exposed to germs. So I probably have resistance to it, which is good. So it's a weird thing, guys, but we have to take care of the other people. You know, we have, I think, 12 students that are going just online. Okay. And so our teachers, we got to really look out for them. Okay. I can't tell you everybody's situation. Coach Lawbon, okay, it's actually quite brave of Coach Lawbon to even come into this building because he's got a lot of comorbidities. All right. So God bless him. God bless Mrs. Fox. Be with them, and because they are putting themselves at risk to be here. I don't feel like I am. I really don't. I'm not worried at all. So anyhow, everybody thinks about these things differently. You know what I mean? So nobody's right, nobody's wrong. You know what I mean? There's so much we don't know about it. We're still learning. You can get it twice, apparently. There's been a couple cases worldwide where somebody's gotten it again. Viruses mutate. They mutate. They change. You don't get the same strain of flu every year. You understand? Now, I don't know how you guys are feeling. This is tough. I was talking to Father this morning, talking to Coach Shuckman last night. You know, the first day of school is always pretty quiet. So you throw these in, and I can't really tell where you guys are at, what you're feeling. I can't see your facial expressions very well. So I'm just going to try and act as normal as possible, be myself, and you guys try and be yourselves and enjoy this, okay? We're going to look at the shared ideas and diversity of American society and political culture, things like Black Lives Matter. These are things that we're going to talk about. Opinions in here need to be free expression, okay? Free speech in here, all right? Now, here's the thing about the First Amendment and free speech. I have the right to offend you. You have the right to offend me. The Constitution, the First Amendment, does not protect your feelings. Now, colleges are trying to do that. They're trying to protect everybody's feelings by stopping people from having free speech. Okay? That's not going to happen here. Now, if, say, we have 8 people in here, and one of us thinks differently than the other 7, are we all going to gang up on that person and hate on them? No, we're going to listen to them. The most important voice in the room is the one that disagrees. If we all think exactly the same way, we're going to be a bunch of little fascists running around. We don't need that. We need diversity of opinion. We need to check ourselves, okay? And we need to study and learn about each other and about different situations. Is there a problem with the justice system when it comes to black and brown people? I believe there is. Do I believe it's systematic that cops are going out and killing black people on purpose because they don't like them? No, I don't think that's the case. But I think if you're a teenager and you're black, and you're the parent of a teenager that's black, you worry about your son and your teenager in their interaction with police. I think that's a real fear that people have. I don't think we can discount that. Okay? So listening to other people and their feelings and, you know, their situation is going to be important. Okay? May not agree with everything people say. Okay? But our justice system, in my opinion, does need some adjustment. Okay, so those are things we're gonna talk about. Okay, we're gonna learn how the Constitution allocates and restricts power and responsibility. We're gonna identify the rights. We've already been talking about that. Privileges, talking about that. Responsibilities of becoming active civic and faith participant. Understand various systems of government and how nations interact. Okay. Now listen, I'm not going to give you a bunch of homework. I might give you one assignment per chapter. Okay, maybe like vocab or something like that. All right. It'll be easy. You have the book. Okay, you guys are going to take that book and you're going to take it home today. And you're going to leave it there. Don't bring it to school. I'm not doing book work in the precious time we have together. You know what I mean? We're only together twice a week. We're not going to be doing book work. And you're not going to be doing a ton of book work at home either. Okay? We use it mostly for vocabulary, like different terms. All right? And I may have you guys write those out on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, and submit it that way. It's too easy in this age of technology for one person to type it and share it with everybody else. Okay? So I'm going to want you to probably write it down. Okay? Plus, that's good for you. Okay? You need that. Tests will be challenging. This is a total point system. So if you do poorly on the first test, do you want some homework the next day to bring your grade up? You're going to want some points, aren't you? Okay. By the end of the semester, some of you guys might be asking me, Mr. Ebright, can you give us another assignment? I need to get my grade up. This is not an easy class. It's not an easy A by any means. Out of a group of 25 students, typically I'll have 6, 7 A's. Okay. I don't know. I have no idea what kind of students any of you are. Okay. You each change every year. Okay, I've seen poor students as freshmen and sophomores become really good students by their senior year. I was not a good high school student. Okay, I'm a great student now. Okay, I have more college credit hours than I can count. I've taken so many classes, and my last 2 years of college, and then all the stuff I've done after that, I haven't made anything lower than a B. So I became a good student. Okay. I'm sure most of you guys are ahead of where I was when I was in high school. So I'm sympathetic to you struggling, but everything you're going to need to know for the tests are going to be in the notes. Everything you're going to need to know for the test is going to be in the notes. Okay. I'm going to do a review with you guys before the test. I'll give you a review sheet. I'll put it on Canvas. If you're here that day, we'll fill it out together. If you're at home that day, you can come in and fill it out with us. If you know the review sheet, you'll pass the test. If you want to make an A, you'll know what? The notes. Okay? So not everything that's on the test is on the review sheet. You need to know the notes. Okay? That's me telling you to study the notes. Okay? And pay attention in class. I will see you guys next Wednesday. Get to your email. I'll try and figure out a way to post a link to this meeting on Canvas, but make sure you set up your email account where you can get it, preferably on your phone. Good? Make sure you use the hand sanitizer on the way out. Thanks, guys.